Okay, we're strapping in. We are strapped in. Coffee is consumed. I hate that I'm still drinking coffee, tea, caffeine, mate. Oh, I love the mate. Mate is the only caffeinated plant indigenous to South America, and they drink it like this. I'll edit that out. Hi, it's me. So I've realized during the process of recording this video and all week, I don't have the energy to be editing videos anymore. I'll do a light edit, but editing takes all day, and I want to do other things with my time. So I just wanted to send you a personal message and say that I'm not going to edit the videos anymore. I'm going to put the disclaimer on there, and then I'm just going to give you the whole chunk. And the primary reason is not that I don't want to spend my entire day editing videos. It's more that this is a sacred process. So I want to reserve the goods of this conversation for people who are really searching for it and have patience, have culminated patience. So I'm going to hide the goods of this conversation in the videos by not editing them, by not putting the best portions at the beginning to hook you. I'm not trying to hook anybody anymore. I'm trying to weed out people. I'm not here for views. I'm not here for subscribers. I realize I'm here for some subscribers, but only dedicated practitioners. I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste my time, and let's not waste each other's time. Good day. It is a beautiful day here in Santiago de Chile, and the sun is raining down in abundance. And I find that although I'm going to push forward and edit out any profound gaps in my speech for the benefit and entertainment of my viewers, you know, when you're in the thing, and I'm not in the thing, but I'm entering the thing. But when you're in the thing, it's sometimes very hard to speak. Sometimes it's not hard to speak at all. But sometimes it's very hard to produce speech. I was talking to my close friend yesterday, and we were discussing the concept of when teachers classify themselves as enlightened. And he was asserting, which many other teachers assert, that you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't call yourself enlightened, even if you are enlightened. And I disagree. Only on the prerequisite that you are legitimately enlightened at that time. But the reason that I like to use that word so liberally is twofold. Number one, because as I have asserted throughout my videos, I believe that even a single flash moment of Zen is the equivalent to being enlightened for that flash moment. Let alone if one can extend that moment or Advaita moment, then I think that it's important to label it for the benefit of other people. Let them try to poke holes in it. And if they can poke holes in it, then the Satoris, which again are flash visions of enlightenment, and I would assert legitimate moments of enlightenment, because if you're experiencing enlightenment, it depends on if we are defining enlightenment by a moment-to-moment thing or a permanent basis, but permanence implies time. And obviously, it's even trickier and it's even more complicated when we have to zoom out and we have to consider the past and we have to imagine the future in order to gauge if somebody is an enlightened person. If I am experiencing enlightenment, I will tell you. And if I am not, then I will assert that I am not. For example, right now, I would never classify myself as being enlightened in the state I'm in right now. All that said, I'm entering the state. But I think that there's no way that it's healthy or responsible to just be throwing words around when you're on the cusp. If I'm in the thing, I'll tell you that I'm in the thing. And if I say that I'm in the thing, maybe I need to and I'm not in the thing right now. I'm entering the thing. And hopefully I will be in the thing later. But again, that's my imagination working. I am on the cusp of the thing. Point being, I am not in the thing. So I'm not going to say that I am an enlightened person right now. Point being, if I or anyone else says that they are in the thing, if I allude that I am currently an enlightened person, which I'm not currently, but I have previously in my videos been I'm in the thing. This is what the thing is. Look at that energy closely. And in the future, I will try to spend more time in the thing, closer to the camera, with my eyes looking into the camera, because that's really the window. And that's how I got it. I'm convinced that I received a nonverbal dharma transmission from a legitimate enlightened person in 2008. And it was so powerful. And I say that because of a lack of words. It was so powerful. It was so powerful. Oh, my Lord. So basically, this is where this stuff gets tricky. I received a nonverbal dharma transmission from a extremely high-ranking teacher in 2007. No, 2008. 2008, 2009. I would have to Google it because I don't remember clearly what year it was. Being so long ago. Point being, 12 or 18 months after I received the nonverbal pure consciousness gaze enlightenment dharma transmission, it doesn't work instantaneously. It begins to work on you because you look into someone's eyes that's an enlightened person, and you subconsciously match energies with it for a moment in time. It's inevitable. But what I'm trying to say, and as I begin to notice that I'm beating around the bush, is that 12 to 18 months after I received this pure consciousness gaze from a legitimate enlightened person, I descended into psychosis. I bet you didn't see that coming. And that happens. That will occur once in a while. to somebody who is not stable like myself, that will occur, which is why we need to be careful, which is why I put the disclaimers on here with the whole thing. It was so powerful, though. Oh, my Lord. Capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. Oh, my Lord, exclamation points, plural. It was so powerful that I didn't see it was coming because, like, I didn't know to be, like, cautious of it. That's weird. That's never happened before. Noted. But I didn't know to be cautious of the Enlightenment, pure consciousness gaze. And it just rocked my world. It was a catalyst. I've had multiple catalysts in my life, so I can't be like, this was the ultimate catalyst of my whole life, but it was definitely like a turning point and a catalyst in my life. And I'm not going to tell you who the teacher was either, I don't think. I would like to not verbalize that because I've verbalized that before many times in person and in videos, and it just takes the magic away from it. I feel that this type of thing is something that energetically and magically we should, and I'm saying this to share, we should protect that. We don't have to disclose where we got the initial pure consciousness gaze from, because people, they will not put that in a responsible place in their heart. I'm not saying all people will not, and I understand that we're dealing with an algorithm here. So this video more and more is being delivered to people who can put it in a responsible place in their heart and in a safe place in their spirit. But most people at this point that this video is going to get delivered to, I think, won't know what to do with it. And it's something that I've learned from experience that I need to protect. It's energy, and I need to protect it. And I say that to myself. I'm not saying that's like, build up the beat and then not drop it, but I can't. I'm trying to think if I've ever received another pure consciousness gaze. I don't think that I have, consciously. Yeah. I understand that I'm spacing out right now, but it's not spacing out. It's the opposite of spacing out, because spacing out replies to enter a train of thought and to get lost in the astral realm. And I assure what I'm doing is the polar opposite of that. I am working on not thinking in order to do what this practice will do, which is create space in between my thoughts in order for the more high quality realizations to bubble up to the surface. It's so funny too, because when you watch videos of, like, for example, Rupert Spira, he does that a lot. Like, somebody will ask him, it's so funny, and I do love Rupert. It's so funny because somebody will ask him a question, somebody will posit a question, and he'll take like 30 seconds of, like, he looks like he's spacing out, but he's not spacing out. He's literally doing the exact same thing. He's clearing his spirit in order to most efficiently answer the question of his student or his guests. But it is funny to see him like spacing out for like 45 seconds after each question, and I think that that's amazing and brilliant and magical. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that the answer is to not think? And I understand the unintended pun present there. But who would have thought? Minus Asia, from what I can tell. And even Asia, like, not to call you out, but I mean, Asia, which I presume was a continent of this whole thing at one period of time. I believe that most people in Asia were not thinking predominantly, but now they're thinking. Now they're purely caught up in the thing of the greater consciousness. Everybody's working and doing the Western, like, I won't even say 9 to 5. I'm going to say like 6 to 8 grind, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. The Japanese grind. Everybody's all depressed. The only places where people are not clearly depressed, from my perspective, and I understand that everything is relative, but the only places that appear to not be depressed, from my Western native, United States native perspective, are locations where economy has not arrived yet. How else can I word that? I don't know how else to word that. Like, a lot of people in the world would say those are the poorest countries in the world, which I would respond, define poor. Define poor. Because if we're talking about poorness of spirit, those are the richest places, the wealthiest places on the whole planet. I am a veteran of the United States invasion of Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a place where, especially when we showed up, which was 2003, I showed up at the very beginning of 2003. There was no economy there. There was essentially no economy there. But of course, like, the Western United States forces were trying to organize people and hire people, and I won't even say give them jobs, because they weren't like looking out for the benefit of the Afghan people. They were solely looking out for the benefit of themselves and for ourselves as a collective. But I'm talking about going to places where the economies of these places were so minimalistic that there were only the most basic necessities of life, like food, fixing sandals, just the most basic necessities of life. Versus now, you go to a place like the United States or Western Europe, or more developed places in Asia like Hong Kong, Singapore, rising places like Bangkok, massive cities in China, whatever. And it's like you have there's an economy for so many things. It's like if you want, like, I don't know, just one random example. If you want like custom flavored bubblegum, like, they have a store for that. If you want like to make your own perfume with a perfume master, you can go get a custom perfume made by a perfume master. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, to be clear. I'm just observing the energetic dynamic of that scenario versus an economy like Eastern Afghanistan in 2003, when the only people making money or concerned about making money were people focused on the most basic necessities of society at that time. You know, like selling food or fixing sandals or selling basic commodities. I am realizing quickly that this is not becoming a video about the previous theme of this channel, which is beautiful, and I love it. I will happily diversify my portfolio. And furthermore, I believe that there are people that would and are interested in hearing this type of content. I am entering a more Zen state, so I am also curious to observe what is being produced here. I'll try to circle back and loop it back and harp on the overall theme of this channel, which is Zen and Advaita, and that's only the current themes of this channel. But it really has to do with not thinking. And I understand that it's hard for certain people to grasp the idea that a person can talk. That a person can talk and also not think at the same time. But you absolutely can do it. It's absolutely possible. I have no idea what I am saying until I observe myself here and in this video screen that I have facing myself. Like I have a tablet so I can see myself, but I have no idea what is going to be said until it is said. At least the amount of, I'll rephrase it this way to be hyper accurate, because I think that the technicalities are what a lot of people are hoping and searching for when they look for this channel. You know, when I was younger, it's weird because when I was a boy, I was a hyper extroverted, hyper talkative person. And I don't remember ever thinking before I spoke. And what I mean by that is that the amount of space, at least between the moment something occurred and I reacted to it verbally, was so minute that it was imperceivable, versus when I came home from the wars, I got so depressed and insecure that I went introspective to a radical degree energetically. And that's where I am at now, 20 years later, is I'm still trying to kind of basically pull myself out of that hyper profound introspection. And I do it in moments like this when I'm practicing and I'm in a Zen or Advaita flow. It feels like sleeping, because it's like, it feels like resting from my mind that has been working so hard trying to sort out all the world's problems for the last 20 years. But my point in summary is that there, in moments like this, and I won't say that I'm in the thing, and by the thing I mean pure consciousness, Zen, pure Advaita. I will not say that I'm in the thing. I'll say that I'm in the cusp of the thing, and I'll say that that's where I've been essentially for the whole video. But even now, in this state, it's so close. It's not there, because when you're there, it's just the whole other thing. It's not there. It's so close, but it's not there. Yet, still, the amount of space in between a moment that is occurring, like I'm observing myself just doing what I'm doing and hearing myself speaking, and the amount of space in between me observing one thing being verbalized and the next thing occurring is so minute, it's imperceivable. And that's what my whole point. And if it's imperceivable, then I don't see how anyone could argue that this is not acute presence. And again, I wouldn't say that I'm in acute presence. I'd say that I'm on the cusp of acute presence right now, which is kind of where you have to be to speak. I don't know. It's weird. Because when you're in the thing, you're kind of not aware that you're in the thing. And I know that sounds crazy. You're definitely like mostly not aware because you're in a whole different dimension. And I hope that intrigues people who haven't experienced this yet. And I hope furthermore that this convinces teachers and students who have done the thing or maybe are in the thing right now that I do have wisdom of the thing, experiential understanding, hence wisdom. My definition of wisdom is that. You know, there was a little thought. There was a little thought in there. It's okay. It's okay. Like this is what the whole practice is like you're in the thing, you snap out of it for a moment, and you immediately just get back on the horse. And by get back on the horse, I mean you just immediately let that thought that occurred just go. You observe it and let it go back to the space and the emptiness and the void that it came from. And it's weird, like you experience one single thought and it's taking me right now all this time to reharness and to recenter myself from the momentum and energy of a single thought, which is beautiful. I'm not even going to say it's okay. Like I am okay with it. It's like, this is another point. Like this perspective is that everything is perfect at any given time. That's why in Zen they say, like, I don't know if you've ever seen The Last Samurai, but at the end of the movie, the head guy of the Japanese clan and the samurai head guy, the clan leader, he commits seppuku. I don't remember how to say that. I'll post the word, but he does that. You'll have to Google that because I can't explain what that is and then also be certain that this video will be promoted. I try to keep it high energy, and I won't say that that's not high energy. That's perfection. And I love that culture, by the way. So if you are a Japanese person or a Japanese descendant, I love your culture. The honor. But he does that, and as he's dying, he sees a sakura blossom as he's dying, and he just says something about, this is perfect. Because in Zen, in that culture of Asia and Mahayana Buddhism and whatever that technically is, They believe that everything is perfect in any given moment. And this is what the Advaita perspective is as well, is that everything is perfect. Because how could it not be? And this is the perspective that I have tried so hard to get behind experientially. Because it's one thing to understand, like, yeah, it's perfect, like I get it intellectually. And it's a whole other thing where you get in the seat and you actually have the realization, oh my God, this is perfect. Even in the darkest hour of my whole life, or the darkest hour furthermore of the life of the universe. Let's take the darkest moment, the darkest thing that ever happened in the history of the universe. How was that not perfect energetically? And again, let's not focus on the incident. Let's focus on the collective that is the universe. I mean, how is the and again, this has become my religion, I'll say. Because how is everything not perfect at any given moment? Imperfection would imply that God is imperfect. And I just simply can't get behind that. I like to try to figure out ways to poke holes in it, in that perspective. But I cannot, just the person that I am today, right now, I cannot get behind the idea that God is not perfect. And because I believe that I believe in the more Hindu perspective that everything is God. I am God. You are God. This refrigerator is God. The air in between is God. Everything in the universe is God because the universe came from God. So the innovation in my own life was to begin to try to work on seeing the universe as a perfect entity. And once I was able to see the universe as a perfect entity, and once I had the realization experientially that the universe is a perfect thing. I'm not saying I'm always in that state where I'm zened out and Advaited out. But this is how this game works, is that we experience a realization, and then we have to spend the next period of time like allowing our spirit to untangle the knot that it was, the knots that were, while that realization sinks in and unravels the knot, if that makes sense. So it's like, you practice so hard and then you experience a moment of satori, a flash vision of enlightenment, a flash vision of sitting inside the space in between two thoughts, for example. And then you have it. It's yours. It's in your wallet. But you still have to focus on it and remember to return to it and massage it. You still have to remember and beat enough neurological pathways or whatever in our spirits to return to that moment enough times that it becomes custom. And then eventually, after you practice this practice of focusing on two thoughts and isolating the space in between, and entering that space and being that space, it's a grind. And for me, it was so difficult at first, I will not lie. Like to go from incessant thoughts for essentially 40 years, let's just say 40 years. I will assert I've been practicing since birth. I'm that type of person that I was always looking for truth. But the fact I was having this conversation with my daughter yesterday, It took me 40 years to get it to where I was like, I got it. But I hope that you hear the humility in my voice. I'm like, I just got the thing. I'm 40 years old, so I suppose for certain people that seems old, for other people that seems young. But, they say, what do they say? They say, if you do something 40 hours a week for 40 years, you might get somewhere. And that's where I am, is I did something for 40 years, and then eventually all the dots connected. And I'm not saying all the dots connected, but a bunch of dots connected. Point being, I do not want to lose my train of thought, which I feel like I am in the process of doing. So I'm literally like, I'm just doing Rupert Spirit, and I'm trying not to think right now, because that's how you find it. By not thinking. Oh my Lord, the irony. My daughter invented a phrase yesterday. She said, follow the river, not the tiger. And she was talking about meditation. That's what I was talking about. That's grace. That's what grace is. So I was talking to my daughter, and it took me 40 years to get to where I am right now, whereas she figured out the game at 8 years old. Because I knew how to kind of be a wizard and, hypnotize her gently into becoming a meditation practitioner. Now she just does it, and it's alleviated all this stress from her life. I see myself losing that train of thought that I had. I can't say that I'm going to try to not do that again. I do. If you want to hear wherever I was going with that, please leave a comment below, and I will try to re-enter that space in a future video. I presume this is entertaining. Certain people, I was a very humility-based person for so long. I spent about 3 years in Asia, and it humbled me etiquetely. It humbled me in the manner of etiquette. Like, for example, I lived in Thailand, and in Thailand, they're big bowers. And I started bowing. Now I can't get bows out of my system. But when I say, I presume this is entertaining, it's because I can observe that I think that this is entertaining content. And I don't think it's healthy to... I think those words don't need to be put to that. But I don't think that they are counterproductive to what I'm trying to do. It's giving me an opportunity to dive into the technicalities of my own practice, and therefore it's healthy for me. I think this is going to be healthy for other people. And my whole goal, chest beat, my whole goal from the jump was to make educational content that was entertaining, was to make entertaining content that was educational, I should say. A lot of people don't get this, though. And that's perfection. You know what I'm saying? But my point is not that. My point is to give you a compliment, because if you are still in this video, watching this video, you're getting what I'm saying on either a conscious level or a subconscious level. Both of those options are amazing, because most people, they literally can't perceive what I'm saying. It's so foreign to them that it just doesn't click. So if you can understand what I'm saying on either a conscious level or an unconscious level, you are on path. You are very much on path. You are ahead of the game, I should say. It's not about that. We're all right where we're supposed to be at any given moment. We all, in any given moment, could not have gotten further any faster. I just mean to say, I hope you feel that too, because I can't get more from the heart right now than being all up in this camera. I'll try to close. I may not close, though, because I don't want to. I like to do this. God is good. I believe God is good. Buddhists, Buddhists don't spend any energy. Contemplating the existence or non-existence of God. They think it's irrelevant, which is amazing and I love. I personally like to practice meditation with the profound absolute belief in a creator. Because I feel that when you take meditation and then you add the profound belief in a creator to that meditation practice, it's like adding two chemical compounds together, and they work together energetically and synergetically and just create this whole huge, great thing. It's just like the phrase that the sum is greater than, something about the result or the product is greater than the sum of its parts. So I'm talking about take two separate pieces, take two separate numbers, add them together, and then the result is just energetically, exponentially, infinitely more powerful. That's what the belief in God does for me. It's weird, the whole thing is energy. So right there, again, I was losing my train of thought, which I'm not going to apologize for losing my train of thought because I don't believe very much in apologies. I'll do it if I feel that it will help another person, but I won't do it if it's something trivial. And the thing is, like I'm saying in this video, it is very hard to speak in this state. So I'm not going to apologize for losing my train of thought today and yesterday multiple times. But I will say I do appreciate any viewers. I don't know why. I examine that. Why do I want viewers? Why do I want subscribers? Why do I keep checking my analytics? And I don't know, I'm not drawing any concrete conclusions. Other than maybe I'm lonely. Maybe I like to see fruit from my work. Maybe I want to help legitimate questions I'm asking the universe right now via my heart, because I don't have these answers. I just want to be here. Like, I'm happy to be here. This is why I disagree with a lot of religions and philosophies, is because I like to be here. Like, over the course of time, over the course of my life, which I get it's irrelevant in the Zen and Advaita traditions, but this isn't that. This is a non-denominational channel currently. I just like to use the words Zen and Advaita to point towards something. Follow the river, not the tiger. That's the third time I've lost my train of thought. And I'm going to try to embrace energetically something that I think that I'm sensing now that that's happened 3 times, that I'm pushing against something. I think that I'm holding something back. That's what I think that I'm doing, and that's why I think in the last 2 days, over the course of 2 videos, I've lost my train of thought 2 times. And if you're here this far in, I commend you, because this is where I think it gets good. And I'm not going to edit any of this other stuff out. You know, this is one of those practices where it's like a koan, it's like a paradoxical riddle home natively to the Zen tradition. You have to be down for the ride, or you're not going to get the goods. And I don't mind hiding the goods along the way. I will literally disguise the goods, as opposed to, you know, I could edit out a bunch of these spaces. I could edit out a bunch of this speech. People wouldn't get it anyway. They would get it less without the context. Point being, if you're still here for the ride, there's goods here. This isn't just speech. There's profound, rare. And again, this is where calling oneself enlightened, I believe, is beneficial. And I'm not doing that right now. But I will say that the wisdom that God has given me by grace alone, God has given to us by grace alone. Rare wisdom. And by rare, I mean math can't grasp it. I understand that a mathematician would be like, you can mathematically, you know, throw a number out there, but it's so rare. It's such a fraction of a percent that understand that not thinking is the way, that it's not even worth the trouble of trying to figure out what that is. It's just so rare. It's something that's so rare within the traditions. Oh my God. You know, you scour the internet for teachers, and you find a few. I am close with a man from Germany who, I'm going to stop name dropping you, but he kicked me a list of like 5 great teachers, low-key, quiet, hidden, unpopular, not famous teachers yesterday. So they're out there. But and I haven't perused those options, my friend from Germany. I have not yet perused them. But my point is not that. My point is that even within the traditions, within the religions, let's talk about Zen for a minute, or Advaita. But Zen is kind of like a popular one. It's kind of like, I understand that Zen is fringe in one regard, but it's also very popular in another regard. it's very rare you see a person speaking on the internet that has deep experiential wisdom of what they're saying. The overwhelming majority of what you see is teachers that have intellectual understanding, but they can't enter space in between their thoughts for very long periods of time. They can't do it, and it's clear. It's clear energetically by the way that they speak, their rhythm, their tonality. And I'm not here to hate on teachers. I'm saying that maybe I am here to hate on that. Let's just examine that. My point is that two things. I have that. God gave that to me, and I acknowledge wholeheartedly by grace alone. Where can I do this? Hold on. Let's do this. Okay. Why have I done this? Because by grace alone, and I mean by grace alone, God has given to me what I calculate is profound understanding of acute presence. And the reason I'm on the ground is so that I can do this for you. I will bow like a Muslim. I will bow like a Sufi, but that's not good enough in my own heart. And the fact of the matter is that I can't get any lower. There's no act that I can do. There's no words that I can say. There's no physical action that I can take to demonstrate humility to God, to you. If you pay attention to this channel for long enough, I am convinced that I can share this thing that I'm speaking of. But it is a koan, a paradoxical riddle, and you have to be along for the ride. It can't be delivered immediately. It can't be delivered instantaneously. Yes, I can get in front of the camera. I could get into the thing, get in front of the camera, and blast a pure consciousness gaze through the camera, which is perceivable energetically. The community agrees that although it's not as powerful as being in person, some kind of energy exchange, equilibrium, does occur digitally. I could do that, but that's not it either. We have to pair the eyes, the profound, pure consciousness gaze with the koan on the internet. And I believe, I'm convinced that you can pick it up. You can pick up what I'm putting down. If that's what you want. If what you want is what I'm describing. And what am I describing? Let me just summarize. I'm describing a experiential understanding of Zen, an experiential understanding of Advaita, And I believe, because this is a non-denominational channel, that if you combine Zen or Advaita with the belief in God, this is the type of thing that will heal. This is the type of thing that will heal. Note that burp. Don't rule out that burp. My close friend from Ireland, I won't name drop you, my close friend was like, yeah, those burps and those farts, they happen for a reason. They happen when the body is releasing. So note those burps, note those farts. Don't rule it out as something you don't like. On the contrary, when you fart, analyze it. Analyze what you were just doing in your spirit, if you were thinking what thoughts you were thinking about, and where that burp tied into the whole situation or that fart. I was talking about this the other day. If you could see the perfection in a fart, you have arrived.